hands. I'm Dr. David Ajibade with the Brain and Body Foundation. And over the past couple of weeks, we've been going over cardiovascular health and how it pertains in the Nigerian environment. What are the peculiarities? What the average Nigerian on the street needs to know about cardiovascular health. Our goal was primarily on brain disorders, on how to help address and how to improve brain health. But as I've mentioned in a couple of shows prior to this, we began to see people, adults and children, who were having cardiovascular issues. And this, in my opinion, this was quite shocking because we've been told that once you have a normal weight, once you exercise well, once you eat right, and once you take your medication, you should be fine. And we had people who were doing all these things correctly, and yet they were still on 4, 5, sometimes even 6 different medications for cardiovascular disease alone. And so it got us thinking and saying, okay, what needs to be done? Why is it that the Nigerian is having so much trouble with cardiovascular health? And I began to ask my cardiologist friends, researchers, and really the truth is I just didn't find any satisfactory answers. And so that forced me to really do a deep dive into the literature and into research and see what exactly is going on. What is it about the black person? What is it about the black person living in sub-Saharan Africa that makes them more susceptible to heart disease? And quite frankly, the answers have been quite revealing. And so that's what we are sharing with you, and that's why we're partnering with NTA to bring this information, this vital information to Nigerians everywhere, because we have almost 200 million people. We are seriously lacking in terms of knowledge as to how to effectively handle and deal with heart disease in Nigeria. So please stick with us. I hope some of you have been sending in your questions, and I have a few of them here. I will kind of summarize and answer them as best I can. All right, this is from Jamila Sabo, and her message is she's calling in or sending in a message from Kwara. She said in your last episode you talked about fried foods. I love fried dodo. Well, so do I. And I fry my stew and my soup. Even my okra is fried. Is that also harmful? Well, like we said before, fried foods, the vegetable oil, once it's heated, it doesn't matter what kind of oil it is. As long as vegetable oil, even palm oil too, can be harmful to your health. And then once it's fried, it takes on a different nature and different characteristic. That is, produces chemicals that can actually cause inflammation to the lining of your blood vessels. Remember, we're talking about the lining of your blood vessels. And by extension, it's also the lining of your heart. According to researchers, the primary cause of cardiovascular disease is a lesion to the lining of the blood vessel. And so we talked about some of the things that can cause significant damage or damage to the lining of the blood vessels. Fried foods are one of them. So yes, the answer is yes, fried foods can cause more damage to your blood vessels, and you want to begin to limit the amount of fried foods that you take on a regular basis, especially when you pass the age of 35, 40. Definitely by 40, you need to start limiting it. It's preferable to boil your food and cook them as opposed to frying them. My name is Kojo, and I am in my 60s. I'm not Nigerian, and I have lived a better part of my life in Benue. My daily diet is pounded yam and pocho. What does pocho mean? Does anybody know? Anyway, I guess it's a Benue thing. Pocho, the person also likes peppered stew and fresh fish. I have been hypertensive for over 20 years. Your program says with good food I can be whole again. Is this possible? Is it possible that good diet can make me all right? Don't go too far on me. With the right nutrients. Now, with the right nutrients, you can go a long way towards improving your cardiovascular health. There's no guarantee that you have complete reversal. In fact, it's on a rare occasion that simply by going on a good diet, you will get a complete reversal of cardiovascular disease. So I want you to pay attention to that. You have to take your medication. You cannot substitute good diet for your medication. Don't do that. So just it's a combination of everything. Good diet, the right nutrients, supplements, and of course your medication that makes you whole again. Hello, doctor. Great program, Your Health in Your Hands. My name is Mrs. Udo from PH, Port Harcourt. My 12-year-old son was diagnosed with high blood pressure. That's serious. He hates fruits and vegetables, but drinks a lot of water and beans. His health situation and lifestyle frustrates me. He loves to exercise. What can I do? Well, if a 12-year-old son, if your 12-year-old son has hypertension, I would say go to your doctor because there's some underlying factor that is causing that. Kids don't usually have hypertension. So please go back and Mrs. Udo, please have your son have a complete evaluation with his physician, please. Last question. Doctor, well done. My name is Auntie Yabo from Kuje, Abuja. I have high blood pressure for 5 years. I have been managing it I also have diabetes going on last years. Now my 2 knees are paining me. Oh boy. I dey sell Mama Puts. Okay, quite a lot going on here. Quite a lot going on. Okay, so she's having quite a few things. I would say stick with our programs. We will answer many of your questions, but also make sure that your diabetes is under control, your blood sugar levels are under control, and also your hypertension is under control. Extremely, extremely important. These are great questions. Thank you so much for sending them. Please keep sending them on them. If we can't answer you directly on TV, we shall also answer you on the social media platforms. So stick with us. We'll be back for more information on your health in your hands. Welcome back. So last week we spoke about the different nutrients that can be helpful in the reversing of damage to the cardiovascular system. And more than that, improving cardiovascular health. So we talked about those things. We spoke about vitamin C, we spoke about vitamin D3, and we spoke about a certain amino acid called L-arginine. There are 7 main nutrients that are specifically, or they've been found to be specifically helpful in cardiovascular health. And remember, the primary cause of cardiovascular disease, I can't say it enough, is a damage or a lesion in the lining of the endothelium. So when it comes to L-arginine, and I'm going to do a separate segment on L-arginine specifically, because L-arginine is an amino acid which the body takes in and produces a gas. I'm going to tell you what that gas is. That gas helps to improve, helps to dilate, helps to relax the blood vessels. What we know is that we black people are deficient in that gas, and that's why, for the most part, our blood vessels are tighter many times than the white person's blood vessel is, and therefore we are more prone, one of the things why we are more prone to cardiovascular disease. We also talked about vitamin D3 as another thing. Vitamin D3, by the way, helps to release this gas as well. So, and we again are very deficient in vitamin D3, especially those of us who live in metropolitan areas, in places like Abuja, where we're always under the AC and always indoors. So it's very important. Let's move on to vitamin K2. You have this slide in front of you, so we're just going down the list. Vitamin K2 has gotten some prominence over the past few years. It wasn't really recognized as much. But vitamin K2, what it does, it works with vitamin D3 to take out, it helps to send calcium and other things that cause plaque. It sends calcium into the bones. So it works with vitamin D3 to send calcium into the bones. One of the things we know from cardiovascular disease is that atherosclerosis, maybe some of you may know what that means. It means the hardening of the arteries. It starts with deposits of calcium in the inner lining of the blood vessels. So what vitamin K does, again, is to inhibit or to avoid that deposition from happening and sending the calcium into the blood, into the bones where they should be. Again, it works with vitamin D3. A caveat here is that if you're on blood thinners, you do not want to be taking vitamin K2 because the doctor gives you those blood thinners to avoid blood clots in certain conditions. I'm not going to go into that. But vitamin K2 should not be taken with blood thinners. But you do need to know that vitamin K2 has been very, very helpful when it comes to atherosclerosis. Again, you can do the research yourself. The fifth nutrient is magnesium. Again, they've done research in the US and they found out that black men and black women tend to be more deficient in magnesium than white people are. Some of it is due to their diets. Some of it may just be due to their genes. So magnesium is very important in that it helps to, it helps in relaxing the blood vessels. But a lot more than that. It helps in the transmission of electrical impulses through the heart. So you have the heart here, okay? And then you have the blood vessel, okay? So magnesium helps to relax. So when blood is flowing from the heart, magnesium helps to relax the blood, the blood vessels so that it allows the blood to flow well. If your blood vessels are not relaxing, it means that they are being rigid and they're being tight. So the blood, and it shouldn't always be the same size. It should be able to relax, expand, and relax, and contract. Expand and contract. If it's not doing that, the blood flow is going to be impeded. And this is what is known as atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis. It could be spelled with an A-R-T or A-R-T-H, atherosclerosis. This happens in the bigger arteries. Atherosclerosis happens in the smaller arteries. So you need to have enough magnesium to allow impulses for the heart to beat properly and rhythmically, and also magnesium helps to relax the blood vessels. I'm going to go on to the next one, which is antioxidants. Antioxidants, some of you may have heard of antioxidants before. I think they are absolutely crucial, especially as you're growing older. I think I'd mentioned in one of the shows before that your body produces chemicals which can be harmful to the body itself. These chemicals are produced from the burning of fuel, glucose, sugars, carbohydrates, amino acids. Your body burns up these good nutrients and it produces the energy, but also it produces bad, sometimes even toxic substances. Your body removes them the same way a car removes waste products through the exhaust pipe. But instead of having an exhaust pipe, your body has what are known as antioxidants. So these are chemicals. So you have all these bad, let's depict the bad chemicals. These are the bad chemicals. These are bad chemicals. So what antioxidants do is that antioxidants come into place and they actually neutralize these chemicals. It goes without saying that the younger you are, the more your body produces the neutralization factors, which are the antioxidants, which helps to neutralize these what are known as free radicals. It's very important because these same antioxidants and these same free radicals can attack the lining of your blood vessels. So these antioxidants can attack this lining, and therefore you need the free, did I say antioxidants? I said the free radicals can attack the lining of your blood vessels, excuse me. And so you need to be able to produce antioxidants that can minimize that. The more your antioxidants attack the lining of your blood vessels, the greater your chance of having atherosclerosis. And so it's vital that you take some antioxidants. Again, most of these antioxidants can be found in fruits and vegetables, but you need to take a lot of them. A lot of lime, lemons, vegetables, spinach, bitter leaf. These are all chock full of antioxidants, but they have to be taken raw. If you cook them, you're not going to get enough. So remember about that. You need antioxidants. The last one we're going to be talking about are the anti-inflammatories. You have that on your board as well. Inflammation. So antioxidants and anti-inflammatories go hand in hand. The oxidants or the free radicals, that's these red ones, are produced by your body. They attack your body. They attack the lining of the blood vessels. as well as other parts of the body. So they attack, they attack, they attack, they attack. Your antioxidants are supposed to protect them. But what happens when your body is attacked? What happens when there's injury in any way to any part of your body? Your body responds always. It responds always by something called inflammation. As your body responds to try to deal with these things, to try and heal the damage that has happened. Many times this damage is not well taken care of, and so it's known as inflammation, and it can go on and on and on and on. So sometimes your body needs help in dealing with the inflammation, and so you need anti-inflammatories. I hope you get the picture. We'll talk, and some of these anti-inflammatories can be gotten from omega-3s and other fruits and vegetables again. Okay, we've taken it a long time to explain this. We'll be right back after the break.
The heart has its own circulatory system, and that circulatory system is called the coronary arteries. When people develop atherosclerosis or high cholesterol levels, this can result in plaque deposition, plaque formation in the arteries. And as those plaques grow and grow, they can obstruct the flow of blood. This can lead to a decrease in the flow of blood and therefore the flow of nutrients and oxygen to the heart, to the point where when you need your heart during exercise or walking up the stairs or changing a flat tire or almost anything else, if the heart does not get enough blood or oxygen, it's going to feel pain due to ischemic damage. That is essentially a heart attack. Nitric oxide is a chemical or a molecule, or you can even call it a hormone that is present in the body, which functions in certain specific ways within the cardiovascular system. It's our way of protecting ourselves, literally, against cardiovascular disease. It's a molecule, for example, that lowers the blood pressure. It's our way of preventing strokes and heart attacks. The arteries make nitric oxide for the purpose of lowering the blood pressure, improving blood flow to organs, because nitric oxide is a vasodilator. It widens or relaxes the arteries so that more blood can flow through. That's going to lower the pressure within the plumbing, within the arterial system. And again, it protects against coronary artery disease because it can lower the bad cholesterol levels and so on. So it's the body's natural way to protect against heart disease, provided we make enough of it. Nitric oxide is considered to be a lifesaver because it's the body's natural way of protecting against cardiovascular disease. Cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer, not only in the U.S., but throughout the world. And so the body can protect against all of this heart disease by generating more and more nitric oxide. When nitric oxide becomes deficient, this is when the barriers break down. This is when the protection is lost, and the individual is very sensitive and very susceptible to heart disease. And again, nitric oxide is protective because it can keep your blood pressure down in the normal range. High blood pressure causes heart attacks, causes strokes, and can lead to atherosclerosis or coronary artery disease. Nitric oxide can prevent all of these things. Arginine is an amino acid. There are about 20 or so amino acids that are the building blocks of all proteins. Proteins that you eat and proteins that are in your body, like your muscle and skin and so on. But arginine plays a unique role in that arginine is the one amino acid that the body uses to produce nitric oxide. Okay? There are 2 amino acids that the body actually can use. One is arginine, the other is citrulline. But the primary amino acid, which is converted to nitric oxide in the body, is arginine. And it's very important, therefore, to maintain normal, healthy levels of arginine at all times, because when we develop certain cardiovascular and related diseases that are characterized by a deficiency in nitric oxide, the main reason for the deficiency in nitric oxide is a deficiency in this amino acid arginine. So if you have too low a level of arginine, you're not going to make sufficient amounts of nitric oxide to protect your cardiovascular system against disease. And so arginine is one of those amino acids that you actually have to take in from the outside. That is, you have to include it in your diet. And we're lucky that so many different proteins contain arginine. But sometimes, even though we may eat healthy and eat normal amounts of protein, if you have a deficiency in arginine, you're not going to get sufficient amounts from the diet. So you may want to consider supplementing your diet with extra arginine.
Welcome back to Your Health in Your Hands. Again, we're talking about cardiovascular health. After this video that you've just seen, in which you see the Nobel Prize winner talking about how to produce nitric oxide in your body, I wanted to kind of like go into a little bit more. And quite frankly, I don't think you can argue very, very aggressively with a Nobel Prize winner. These are people who have reached the top of their field, and they've been recognized all over the world as authorities in what they're talking about. So nitric oxide is the miracle molecule, and that is produced in several different ways. Again, remember, nitric oxide is what helps the blood vessels dilate and allows blood to flow through it. I know we've mentioned magnesium before, but nitric oxide is actually probably the most important thing for, if I were to mention one molecule that helps the cardiovascular system the most, it's nitric oxide. Now, you can't just give nitric oxide directly. It has to be produced by the body from food. But here's the problem. Most of those foods, how available are they in our environment? How available are they in Nigeria? So, and again, you have to take large amounts of those foods. So what I've seen is that it's basically impracticable to ask people to be taking all these different fruits and vegetables on a regular basis in the amounts that are needed. So that's why Dr. Ignaro, the Nobel Prize winner in the video that you just saw, has tried to simplify it. And basically he says you need at least 5 grams of L-arginine, an amino acid a day to produce the amount of nitric oxides that your body needs. Now, if you are dealing with hypertension or any other kind of cardiovascular disease, you need at least 10 grams of that a day. That is the recommendation, along with things like vitamin D3, things like magnesium, and of course L-citrulline. Let me just quickly back up now. L-citrulline is another amino acid that your body needs, but it basically works with L-arginine to produce nitric oxide in your body. And here's the thing. L-arginine, the nitric oxide produced from L-arginine stays for a little short time. So what L-citrulline does is that it extends the amount of time that the nitric oxide is produced from L-arginine. So you can't just go to the health food store and buy L-arginine and say that and think you've taken care of it, because it just appears for a short time in the blood. It produces nitric oxide for a short time in the blood and then it disappears. But if you take it along with things like L-citrulline and vitamin D3, you have a more sustained effect of nitric oxide in the system. So those are things that we really need you to understand and to apply. And again, you check with your doctor, check online, and see how you can apply these different things. Remember, your health is in your hands. And you must be able to do whatever it takes to ensure that your family, yourself, and the people that you care about have the tools that they need to maintain health, especially cardiovascular health, because this is a problem that is affecting us all over this country. Thank you very much.